The alley reeked of rotting garbage and desperation. Han Tae-min adjusted his Rolex, irritation flickering across his sharp features as he headed toward his black Mercedes. The November wind cut through downtown Atlanta, carrying the distant sound of traffic from Peachtree Street. He'd just finalized a deal that would expand his territory into Buckhead, another step in building his empire since leaving Busan 12 years ago. Then he heard it, a child's quiet sob, muffled but unmistakable. His hand moved instinctively to the gun beneath his tailored jacket. Tae-min had survived in America's underworld by trusting no one, by eliminating threats before they materialized. The alley behind his restaurant was supposed to be secure. He moved silently toward the sound, his fighter's body coiled and ready. What he found made him freeze. A little girl, no more than 6, knelt beside a woman who lay crumpled against the brick wall. The child's hair was styled in 2 small puffs, decorated with bright beads that caught the dim light. Her clothes hung loose on her tiny frame. She looked up at him with eyes full of terror and desperate hope. "Sir, please," her voice cracked. "Mommy can't walk." Tae-min's breath caught in his chest. The woman, her warm amber skin marred by bruises that made his jaw clench, tried to lift her head. Blood had dried at the corner of her mouth. Her legs were twisted at an angle that spoke of severe injury. "Run, Kaya," the woman whispered, her voice hoarse. Pain etched lines around her eyes, but she still tried to shield the child with her body. "Run, baby." The little girl, Kaya, didn't move. She clutched a ratty stuffed bunny to her chest and stared at Tae-min with a mixture of fear and defiance that reminded him achingly of his younger sister. "Please don't hurt us," Kaya said, her small voice steadier now. "We'll leave. Mommy just needs to rest first." Tae-min had killed men for far less than trespassing behind his establishment. He'd built his reputation on ruthlessness, on being the Korean who'd risen from dishwasher to crime lord in one of America's most competitive cities. Mercy was a luxury he'd abandoned the day he'd watched his father beaten to death for owing money to the wrong people back in Busan. But looking at this child, this brave, starving child protecting her broken mother, something fractured inside his carefully constructed armor. He crouched slowly, making himself less threatening. The tiger tattoo on his neck caught the light from the street lamp. "How long has she been like this?" Kaya's lower lip trembled. 3 days. He hurt her real bad. "He?" Tae-min's voice dropped to a dangerous register. "My daddy." The word came out with such bitter hatred that Tae-min's hands curled into fists. "He found us. Mommy tried to leave, but he... The woman, the mother, made a sound of protest. "Kaya, don't." She coughed, and Tae-min saw blood fleck her lips. Internal injuries. She needed a hospital hours ago. "When did you last eat?" he asked the child. Kaya looked down at her worn sneakers. "Yesterday morning, a lady gave us half a sandwich. 2 days." This child hadn't eaten in 2 days while her mother lay dying in his alley. Tae-min stood and pulled out his phone. His driver answered on the first ring. "Bring the car to the back entrance. Now." He switched to Korean, his native tongue flowing easier in moments of stress. "And call Dr. Park. Tell him I need him at my penthouse immediately. It's urgent." He ended the call and looked at Kaya. "I'm going to carry your mother to my car. We're going somewhere safe where a doctor can help her." "No hospitals," the woman gasped. She tried to sit up and failed, collapsing back with a cry of agony. He'll find us there. He has friends. Cops. Nurses. Please, just take Kaya. Leave me." "Mommy, no!" Kaya threw herself across her mother's chest, careful to avoid the worst of the bruises. Tae-min felt that crack in his armor widen. "I'm not leaving either of you." He moved toward them, and the woman flinched. The instinctive fear in her eyes, fear of him, a man, any man, made rage burn hot in his gut. "I won't hurt you. You have my word." "Your word?" Her laugh was bitter, painful. "I don't know you. My name is Han Tae-min. I own this restaurant and half of the business is on this street." He met her eyes directly, letting her see the truth there. "The man who hurt you, he's not connected to my organization." She shook her head weakly. "Small-time dealer. West Side boys." Tae-min knew the gang. Poorly organized, violent, disrespected by the serious players. "Then he's a dead man walking, but first we get you help." Before she could protest again, he bent and carefully slid his arms beneath her. She was light, too light, like her daughter. How long had they been struggling? The woman gasped as he lifted her, her body rigid with pain and fear. "I've got you," he said quietly in English. then repeated in Korean, "Gwenkan hayo, Gwenchana yo." Though she wouldn't understand the words, perhaps his tone would convey what he meant. "You're safe now." Kaya scrambled to her feet. Bunny clutched tight. "Where are you taking us?" "Somewhere safe, somewhere warm, somewhere with food." He started walking toward the mouth of the alley where his Mercedes was already pulling up, his driver's eyes widening at the sight. The woman in his arms trembled. From cold, pain, or fear, he couldn't tell. Maybe all three. Up close, he could see the delicate bone structure of her face beneath the swelling, the intelligence in her brown eyes despite their pain-glazed appearance. She was beautiful, he realized with surprise. Beautiful and broken and brave enough to still be fighting. "What's your name?" he asked as his driver rushed to open the back door. "Camille," she whispered. "Camille Brooks." Camille. He tested the name, the American syllables feeling foreign on his tongue. "I'm taking you to my home. My doctor will treat you there. No hospitals, no records. The man who did this won't find you." He settled her carefully across the back seat. Kaya climbed in beside her mother, taking Camille's hand in both of her small ones. The devotion between them was palpable, a bond that reminded Taemin of his own mother, who'd worked 3 jobs to feed him and his sister after his father's death. As the car pulled away from the alley, Taemin made a silent vow. This woman, this child, they were under his protection now, and anyone who threatened what was his would learn why the Korean underworld called him Horangi, the tiger. The man who'd beaten Camille Brooks had just signed his own death warrant. He just didn't know it yet. "Sir?" Kaya's small voice pulled him from his dark thoughts. She was looking at his neck, at the tiger tattoo that curved along his jawline. "That's pretty. Does it mean something?" Taemin's expression softened slightly. "In my language, it means protector. It means I defend what's mine. Are we yours now?" The question was so innocent, so hopeful. He met Camille's gaze in the rearview mirror. She was watching him with wary confusion, trying to understand why a stranger, a dangerous stranger if his reputation preceded him, would help them. He could see her fighting to stay conscious, to protect her daughter even now. "Yes," he said simply. "You're mine now." And as the words left his mouth, Han Taemin realized he meant them. Somewhere between finding them in that alley and feeling Camille's fragile weight in his arms, something fundamental had shifted in his carefully ordered world. He'd spent 12 years in America building an empire. Tonight, in a reeking alley behind his restaurant, he'd found something worth more than all of it. He'd found his redemption. Taemin's penthouse occupied the top floor of a luxury building in Buckhead, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Atlanta's glittering skyline. Camille barely registered the opulence as he carried her through the entrance. Marble floors, modern Korean art on the walls, furniture that probably cost more than she'd earned in a year of waitressing. Dr. Park, a stern-faced man in his 60s, waited in the living room with his medical bag. He'd been Taemin's personal physician since the early days, treating injuries that couldn't be explained in emergency rooms. His eyes widened slightly at the sight of Camille's battered body, but he asked no questions. "Guest bedroom," Taemin instructed, carrying her down a hallway. Kaya followed like a shadow, refusing to leave her mother's side. The room was larger than their entire apartment had been. Taemin laid Camille on the bed with surprising gentleness, for a man whose hands had certainly dealt death. She bit back a scream as her injured legs made contact with the mattress. "Kaya," Taemin said, his accented English careful and measured. "The kitchen is down the hall. My housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, is there. Tell her I said to feed you. Anything you want." Kaya looked at her mother, torn. Camille managed a weak smile. "Go eat, baby. I'm okay." The child hesitated, then hunger won. She disappeared down the hallway, Bunny dragging behind her. Dr. Park approached the bed and Camille instinctively recoiled. Taemin moved into her line of sight. "He won't hurt you. He's going to help, but I need to know. Can I stay? Or would you prefer I leave?" The question surprised her. Most men didn't ask. Marcus certainly never had. She studied Taemin's face, sharp cheekbones, intense dark eyes, that striking tattoo that curved along his neck. He looked dangerous, undeniably so. But he'd carried her with careful hands, and something in his steady gaze made her trust him, despite every instinct screaming that trusting men led to broken bones and broken spirits. "Stay," she whispered. "Please." Relief flickered across his features. He positioned himself where she could see him, hands clasped loosely, posture non-threatening. "Tell him what happened. Everything. He needs to know to treat you properly. The examination was painful and humiliating. 3 cracked ribs. Severe bruising to her kidneys and liver. Her left leg fractured in 2 places. Right leg badly sprained. Cuts and contusions covering most of her body. Dr. Park's expression grew darker with each discovery. She needs to be in a hospital, he said in Korean to Taemin. No hospitals, Taemin replied in the same language. Can you treat her here? Dr. Park sighed. I can set the leg, bind the ribs, prescribe pain medication and antibiotics. But she'll need physical therapy in a few weeks, and there's a risk of complications. Then we'll handle complications as they arise. Do what you can. As the doctor worked, Camille drifted in and out of consciousness. She was vaguely aware of the cast being applied, of needles and bandages, of Taemin's steady presence anchoring her to consciousness when the pain threatened to pull her under completely. Finally, Dr. Park finished. She needs rest, fluids, and proper nutrition. I'll return tomorrow to check on her. He paused. The child shows signs of malnutrition as well. I know. Taemin's voice was grim. I'll handle it. After the doctor left, Taemin brought Kaya back to the room. The little girl's face was transformed. She'd washed, and someone had found her a clean t-shirt that hung to her knees. More importantly, she'd eaten. Camille could see the slight bulge of her stomach, the satisfied exhaustion in her eyes. Mommy, they have Korean fried chicken. Kaya climbed carefully onto the bed, mindful of her mother's injuries. And rice, and these vegetable things that taste sweet and spicy, and Mrs. Chen said I could have ice cream, but I said I wanted to ask you first. Tears pricked Camille's eyes. You can have ice cream, baby, as much as you want. I'll tell Mrs. Chen, Taemin said quietly. He started to leave, but Camille's voice stopped him. Why? The question came out hoarse. Why are you helping us? What do you want? He turned back, backlit by the hallway light. I want nothing. You owe me nothing. Nobody does something for nothing. Especially not. She gestured weakly at the luxury surrounding them. Especially not someone like you. His expression hardened slightly. Someone like me? Rich, powerful, Korean Mafia. Unless I'm completely wrong about the private doctor and the expensive everything, and the way your driver looked terrified of you. She held his gaze despite her exhaustion. So what's the price? What do you want from me? Silence stretched between them. Kaya looked between them, confused and worried. Finally, Taemin moved closer to the bed. He pulled a chair over and sat, bringing himself to eye level with her. When I was 8 years old in Busan, I watched my father beaten to death by loan sharks. My mother worked herself sick trying to feed my sister and me. We lived in a room smaller than this bathroom, and some nights we ate nothing but stolen rice. Camille blinked, surprised by the confession. I came to America with nothing, he continued. I washed dishes 18 hours a day. I fought, I clawed, I did things I'm not proud of to survive. And I built this. He gestured at the penthouse. I built power so that no one could ever make me helpless again. That doesn't answer my question. Tonight, I saw my mother in you. I saw my sister in Kaya. I saw people who needed help. And for once, for the first time in a very long time, I had the power to give it. His dark eyes met hers with unsettling intensity. That's what I want, Camille Brooks. I want to use my power for something other than destruction. I want to prove I'm not the monster everyone believes I am. You're using us for redemption? She didn't know whether to be angry or sad. No. He leaned forward slightly. I'm offering you safety, medical care, food for your daughter, and protection from the man who hurt you. In return, I ask only that you let me help. No strings, no debt. When you're healed, you can walk away and never see me again. And if I want to leave now? Then my driver will take you wherever you want to go. He stood. But consider this. It's November in Atlanta. Where will you sleep tonight? How will you feed Kaya tomorrow? And when Marcus finds you again, because men like him always find women like you, who will stop him from finishing what he started? The brutal truth of his words hit her like a physical blow. Camille looked at Kaya, who'd fallen asleep against her side, finally safe and fed and warm. Her beautiful, brave daughter, who'd gone hungry to give her mother the larger portion, who'd tried to drag her mother to safety, despite weighing barely 50 pounds herself. She couldn't protect Kaya. Not anymore. Not alone. 2 weeks, she said finally. Let her stay 2 weeks while I heal. Then we'll figure something out. Taemin's expression softened. Take all the time you need. As he reached the door, Camille's voice stopped him again. Thank you for carrying us out of that alley, for seeing us. He looked back, and for just a moment, his carefully controlled mask slipped. She saw loneliness there and regret, and a desperate need to be something other than what the world had made him. "Get some rest, Camille. You're safe now. I promise." After he left, Camille stared at the ceiling, her daughter's soft breathing beside her. She didn't trust him, couldn't afford to trust any man after Marcus. But she was alive, Kaya was fed, and for the first time in 3 days she wasn't drowning in terror. Maybe redemption was something they both needed. Maybe they'd find it together. The next week passed in a blur of healing and adjustment. True to his word, Taimin asked for nothing. Dr. Park visited daily, monitoring Camille's progress with professional precision. Mrs. Chen, the housekeeper, fed them meals that made Kaya's eyes widen with delight. Korean stews, perfectly steamed rice, marinated meats, and American comfort food when homesickness struck. Camille remained wary, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But Taimin maintained careful distance. He left for his business early each morning and returned late each evening. When he was home, he was unfailingly polite, asking about her pain levels and Kaya's needs, but never pushing for more. It was Kaya who bridged the gap between them. The little girl was fascinated by Taimin. She'd creep out of the bedroom to watch him work at his dining table, studying him with those big brown eyes. Eventually, curiosity overcame shyness. "Mr. Taimin, what does your tattoo mean?" He'd looked up from his laptop, surprised to find her standing by his chair. "Horangi, it means tiger, a protector in Korean culture. Like the tiger in my storybook, the one who guards the village?" "Exactly like that." "Can I touch it?" Camille, listening from the bedroom doorway, tensed, but Taimin simply tilted his head, offering access. Kaya's small fingers traced the dark lines of the tiger with wonder. "It's beautiful," she breathed. "Does it hurt?" "Not anymore. The pain faded a long time ago. Like Mommy's pain will fade." His expression softened in a way Camille was beginning to recognize, the mask cracking to reveal the man beneath. "Yes, little one. Like your mother's pain will fade." By the second week, Camille could stand with support. Physical therapy was agony, but she pushed through it, determined not to be helpless. Taimin hired a therapist who came to the penthouse 3 times weekly, and slowly, painfully, strength returned to her legs. One evening, Camille made it to the kitchen on her crutches. Pride surged through her at the accomplishment, quickly followed by frustration at how far she still had to go. She found Taimin cooking. Actually cooking, his expensive shirt sleeves rolled up, his hair falling forward as he focused on the stove. "You cook?" she asked, startled. He glanced up, and something flickered in his eyes when he saw her standing there. Approval? Attraction? It was gone too quickly to identify. "I lived alone for many years before I could afford staff. Kimchi jjigae, kimchi stew, my mother's recipe." The kitchen smelled incredible, spicy, savory, comforting. Camille's stomach growled despite her recent meal. "Sit," he instructed, gesturing to the bar stool. "You shouldn't be standing so long yet." "I'm fine." "Camille." His voice was patient, but firm. "Sit before you hurt yourself." She wanted to argue on principle, but her legs were already trembling. Swallowing her pride, she maneuvered onto the stool. Taimin ladled stew into a bowl and placed it before her with rice and banchan, small side dishes. "Try it." The first spoonful exploded with flavor, heat and depth and complexity. Camille's eyes widened. "This is amazing." His rare smile appeared, transforming his severe features. "My mother would be pleased to hear that." "Does she live in Atlanta?" "In Duluth with my aunt. She runs a small Korean grocery store." He paused. "She doesn't know about my business. She thinks I own restaurants and import-export companies." "Don't you?" "I do, among other things." They ate in companionable silence. Camille studied him covertly, the precise way he ate, the grace in his movements, the ever-present awareness in his posture. He was always alert, always ready. She recognized it because she'd learned the same vigilance living with Marcus. "Can I ask you something?" she said finally. "Always." "Why haven't you asked about Marcus? About what happened?" Taimin set down his spoon. "I know what happened. I saw the evidence on your body. The details don't matter. They might matter to the police." "The police?" His laugh was bitter. "You think the police care about another black woman beaten by her boyfriend? You think they'll protect you when he comes back?" The casual racism in the system he described so accurately made her chest tight. "So what do I do? Hide here forever?" "No." His eyes met hers, dark and deadly serious. "You let me handle Marcus." "Handle him how? Do you really want to know?" Camille thought about Kaya's nightmares. about the terror in her daughter's eyes when she heard heavy footsteps. She thought about Marcus's hands around her throat, his voice promising he'd kill her if she ever tried to leave again. She thought about the hospital bills she couldn't pay, the apartment she'd lost, the job that had fired her for missing too many shifts. "No," she admitted. "I don't want to know. I just want him gone." Then he'll be gone. 2 days later, Marcus made his move. Camille was in the living room with Kaya helping her with a coloring book when Taemin's phone rang. He answered in Korean, his expression darkening with each passing second. When he ended the call, his rage was palpable, a cold, controlled fury that made the air feel dangerous. "What is it?" Camille asked, her heart hammering. "Marcus Johnson found out you're here. He's at my restaurant right now, threatening my staff, demanding I turn you over." Taemin's voice was ice. "He brought 5 of his gang members. They're armed." Terror flooded Camille's system. She grabbed Kaya instinctively. "He can't. We have to breathe." Taemin crossed to her, his presence somehow calming despite the lethal energy radiating from him. "He's not getting near you or Kaya. Do you understand? He's not getting near you. You don't know Marcus. He's a small-time dealer with a gang of idiots who think they're dangerous because they carry guns and sell drugs to kids." Taemin's contempt was absolute. "I've dealt with real monsters, Camille. Your ex-boyfriend is an annoying insect." He made 3 phone calls in rapid Korean. Within minutes, his driver appeared with 2 other men, both Korean, both radiating the same controlled violence as Taemin. "Stay here," Taemin instructed Camille. "Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me or Mrs. Chen. My men will be stationed outside." He looked at Kaya. "Be brave, little one. Protect your mother while I'm gone." Kaya nodded solemnly. "Will you protect us?" "Always." He touched her cheek gently, then met Camille's eyes. "I'll be back in 2 hours, and when I return, Marcus Johnson will never threaten you again." "Taemin." Camille didn't even know what she wanted to say. "Don't go, be careful. Thank you. Don't kill him. Do kill him." Everything tangled in her throat. He understood anyway. "I know. Trust me just a little longer." After he left, Camille held Kaya close and waited. The minutes crawled past. She tried to distract her daughter with games and songs, but anxiety clawed at her chest. What was happening at the restaurant? What would Taemin do? What had she done, letting a crime lord fight her battles? When Taemin finally returned 3 hours later, his shirt was pristine, his hair perfect, his expression calm. But his knuckles were bruised, and there was blood, not his, on his expensive shoes. "It's done," he said simply. "Marcus Johnson won't bother you again. None of them will." "Is he—" She couldn't finish the question. "Alive, hospitalized, and very clear on the consequences if he ever speaks your name again." Taemin's smile was terrifying. "I may have also ensured the West Side boys are no longer welcome in Atlanta. They're relocating to Birmingham by week's end." Camille should have been horrified, should have been disgusted by the violence implied in his words. Instead, she felt safe. For the first time since Marcus's fists had connected with her face, she felt truly safe. "Thank you," she whispered. Taemin's expression softened. He crossed to her, stopping just close enough that she could feel his warmth. "You're under my protection now. That means something in my world. Everyone knows it now. Your world is dangerous." "Yes. I should take Kaya and leave. Start over somewhere else." "You should." He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and tucked a curl behind her ear. The gesture was intimate, gentle. "But I hope you don't." Their eyes met, and Camille felt the shift, the moment when protection became something more complicated, more dangerous in an entirely different way. "Why?" Her voice came out breathless. "Because I look forward to coming home now," he admitted. "Because Kaya makes me laugh. Because you make me want to be the man my mother raised instead of the monster this city created." His thumb brushed her cheekbone. "Because somewhere between carrying you out of that alley and teaching your daughter Korean words, you both became important to me." Camille's breath caught. "Taemin, I'm not asking for anything," he interrupted. "I'm just telling you the truth. Stay or go. The choice is yours. But know that if you stay, it's not charity anymore. It's because I want you here." Before she could respond, Kaya appeared in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. "Is the bad man gone?" "Yes, little one," Taemin said, his voice infinitely gentle. "The bad man is gone forever." Kaya ran to him, wrapping her thin arms around his legs. "Thank you, Mr. Tiger." Over Kaya's head, Camille met Taemin's gaze. Something passed between them. Understanding, possibility. the beginning of something neither of them had planned, but both desperately needed. Maybe redemption wasn't just about being saved. Maybe it was about saving each other. 3 weeks after the confrontation with Marcus, Camille stood in Tamin's penthouse kitchen without crutches. Her legs still ached, but she could walk, could move, could reclaim her independence. It felt like a miracle. She'd also made a decision. "I want to work," she told Tamin over breakfast. Kaya was in the living room, watching cartoons in Korean that she was slowly beginning to understand. He looked up from his coffee. "Work? I can't just stay here doing nothing. You've given us so much, but I need to contribute, to feel useful." She lifted her chin. "I'm a good waitress. I know you own the restaurant downstairs. Let me work there. Your legs are healing. The physical therapist says I'm progressing faster than expected. I'm strong, Tamin. Let me prove it." Something flickered in his expression. Respect, maybe, or desire. She'd noticed his eyes on her more often lately. Noticed the way he found excuses to be near her. Noticed the careful control he maintained around her, as if afraid one wrong move would shatter the fragile trust between them. She'd noticed because she was doing the same thing. "The evening shift only," he said finally. 4 hours maximum. And you stop the moment it becomes too much." Relief flooded her. "Thank you. And Camille?" His dark eyes held hers. "You're not doing this to repay me. You're doing this because you want to. Understand the difference." "I understand." Working at Tamin's upscale Korean BBQ restaurant was nothing like the greasy diner where she'd waitressed before Marcus. The clientele was wealthy, the food exquisite, the atmosphere sophisticated. The staff, a mix of Korean and other ethnicities, treated her with careful respect once they understood she was under the boss's protection. She discovered she liked it, liked the precision of balancing multiple tables, liked learning about Korean cuisine, liked the satisfying exhaustion of honest work. Mrs. Chen watched Kaya in the penthouse during Camille's shifts, and knowing her daughter was safe and happy made the ache in her legs bearable. Tamin often came to the restaurant during her shifts. He'd sit at the bar, ostensibly reviewing paperwork, but she felt his gaze tracking her movements. Protective, possessive, heated. The awareness between them grew impossible to ignore. One evening, a regular customer, a handsome lawyer named David, asked for her number. He was polite, charming, clearly interested. Before Camille could respond, she felt Tamin's presence behind her like a physical force. "Is there a problem?" Tamin's voice was silk over steel. David's eyes widened, recognizing danger. "No, sir, no problem. Just complimenting the service." "My waitress is exceptional," Tamin agreed, his hand coming to rest on Camille's lower back. The touch burned through her uniform. "She's also unavailable. I trust that's clear?" "Crystal clear, Mr. Han." David left a generous tip and hurried out. Camille spun to face Tamin, torn between anger and something else entirely. "I can handle unwanted attention myself." "I know you can." His hand remained on her back, his body close enough that she could smell his cologne, something expensive and subtly spiced. "That doesn't mean you should have to." "And if I wanted to give him my number?" Tamin's jaw clenched. "Did you?" "That's not the point." "Did you want to give him your number, Camille?" He stepped closer, crowding her against the bar. Not threatening, but overwhelming. "Did you want him to call you? Take you to dinner? Touch you?" Her breath caught. "No." "Then what do you want?" The question was low, intense, loaded with everything unspoken between them. "I want—" She couldn't finish, couldn't admit that she wanted his hands on her, wanted to explore the heat building between them, wanted to know if his control would crack if she pushed hard enough. She'd sworn after Marcus that she'd never let another man control her, never make herself vulnerable again. But this wasn't control. This was something entirely different. Something that terrified and thrilled her in equal measure. "You're scared," Tamin observed softly. His fingers traced her spine through her shirt. "Scared of what you feel. Scared I'll be like him. Aren't you?" The words came out sharp. "You hurt people, Tamin. You run a criminal empire. You sent a man to the hospital for touching what's yours. How are you different from Marcus?" Pain flashed across his features. He dropped his hand and stepped back, putting careful distance between them. "You're right, I am a violent man. I've done terrible things. The difference is that I would never raise my hand to you or Kaya. Never. But I understand if you can't see past what I am." He turned to leave and panic seized Camille's chest. "Wait." He paused, his back to her. "I didn't say I couldn't see past it. I said I was scared." She moved closer, her heart hammering. "There's a difference." Taimin turned slowly. What are you saying? I'm saying that for 3 weeks you've been nothing but kind, patient, gentle with Kaya. You gave us safety when we had nothing. You protected us when we were vulnerable. You make me feel... She struggled for words. You make me feel seen, not as a victim or a charity case, but as a person, as a woman. Camille, I'm also saying that I'm terrified because the last time I trusted a man, he nearly killed me. Because you're dangerous in ways Marcus could never imagine. Because if I let myself care about you and you hurt me, I don't think I'd survive it. The confession hung between them, raw and vulnerable. Taimin closed the distance between them in 2 strides. His hands cupped her face with devastating gentleness. I would rather die than hurt you, do you understand? I would cut off my own hands before I raised them against you. How can I know that? You can't, not with certainty. Trust isn't logical, it's a leap of faith. His thumbs stroked her cheekbones. But I will spend every day proving I'm worth that leap. I'll be patient. I'll wait as long as you need. Camille's eyes burned with tears. What if I never stop being scared? Then I'll help you be brave. He pressed his forehead to hers, his breath mingling with hers. Gwen kanhayo, Gwen chanayo, he whispered. It's okay. We'll figure this out together. The Korean words wrapped around her like a promise. Camille's hands came up to grip his wrists, anchoring herself. Teach me, what does that mean? It means you're safe. It means everything will be okay. His lips brushed her forehead. It means I've got you. The almost kiss lingered between them, full of possibility and promise. Then Taimin stepped back, giving her space, proving once again that he would never push, never demand. Come on, he said quietly. Your shift is over. Let's go home. Home. The words settled into her chest with unexpected warmth. That night, after Kaya was asleep, Camille found Taimin on the balcony overlooking Atlanta's skyline. He'd removed his jacket, his white shirt unbuttoned at the collar, his sleeves rolled up. The city lights reflected in his dark eyes. Couldn't sleep? He asked without turning. Too much on my mind. She joined him at the railing, maintaining careful distance. Can I ask you something? Always. Why haven't you kissed me? His hands tightened on the railing. Because when I kiss you, I want you to have no doubts, no fear, no question that you want it as much as I do. He finally looked at her, and the heat in his gaze made her knees weak. When I kiss you, Camille Brooks, I want it to be because you chose me, not because I protected you, not because you're grateful, but because you want me. And if I already want you... The admission escaped before she could stop it. Taimin's eyes darkened. Do you? I think I started wanting you the night you carried me out of that alley, she confessed. I think every day since I've been falling despite knowing I shouldn't, despite being terrified, despite everything. Camille, I'm not ready for more yet, she interrupted. But I needed you to know. I needed to be honest. Taimin reached out and took her hand, threading their fingers together. The simple touch felt monumental. I can wait. I've waited my whole life for something real. I can wait until you're ready. They stood in comfortable silence, hands joined, looking out over the city, and Camille realized that somewhere between fear and trust, between protection and partnership, she'd found something she never thought she'd have again. She'd found hope. The attack came on a Thursday evening, 6 weeks after Taimin had found them in the alley. Camille was walking Kaya home from school, a private academy Taimin had enrolled her in. When the van pulled up, 3 men emerged, and Camille's blood turned to ice when she recognized the West Side Boys' colors. Marcus sends his regards, the leader said, reaching for Kaya. Camille threw herself between them, her partially healed legs screaming in protest. Don't you touch her. Mommy, Kaya screamed, clutching her mother's waist. The man backhanded Camille, sending her sprawling. Pain exploded across her face, but she forced herself up, refusing to let them take her daughter. Blood filled her mouth. The boss said, bring the kid, one of the others said. Leverage to get the Korean to back off. Terror like she'd never known flooded Camille's system. They were going to take Kaya, use her to hurt Taimin, her baby, her everything. No! She launched herself at them with desperate strength, clawing, biting, fighting with everything she had. A blow to her stomach sent her to the ground, gasping. Through the haze of pain she saw them grab Kaya, saw her daughter reaching for her, heard her screaming, Mommy! Mommy! Then gunshots shattered the air. The men dropped, not dead but wounded, screaming. Taimin's security team emerged from seemingly nowhere. They'd been tailing Camille and Kaya at a distance, as they did every day without her knowing. But it was Taimin himself who arrived seconds later, his car screeching to a halt. He took in the scene with one sweep, Camille bleeding on the ground, Kaya sobbing, his men securing the attackers. The rage that transformed his features was terrifying. This wasn't the controlled, cold violence she'd seen before. This was primal fury, barely leashed. He went to Kaya first, scooping her up. "You're safe, little one. I've got you." Then to Camille, helping her stand with infinite gentleness despite the murder in his eyes. "Are you hurt badly?" "I'm okay. They were going to take her, I know." He pulled out his phone, made one call in clipped Korean. "This ends tonight." At the penthouse, after Dr. Park had examined them both and declared their injuries minor, after Kaya had finally cried herself to sleep, clutching her bunny, Camille found Taemin in his office. He was on the phone, speaking rapid Korean, his free hand clenched into a fist. When he saw her, he ended the call immediately. "You should be resting. So should you." She closed the door behind her. "What are you planning?" "What I should have done the first time, complete elimination." His voice was flat, deadly. "Marcus ordered this. Even from his hospital bed he's orchestrating attacks. He'll never stop until you're dead, and Kaya is leverage. So you're going to kill him?" "Yes." No hesitation. "Him and everyone connected to this. The West Side Boys will cease to exist by morning." Camille should have been horrified. Should have protested. Should have clung to some moral high ground. Instead, she thought of Kaya's terrified screams, of rough hands grabbing her baby, of a world where Marcus continued to exist as a threat. "Good," she said simply. Taemin's eyebrows rose. "Good? He tried to take my daughter. He sent men to kidnap a 6-year-old child." Her voice shook with rage. "So yes, good. End it." He studied her for a long moment. "You understand what you're saying, what you're condoning. I understand that there are monsters in this world, and sometimes the only way to stop them is with bigger monsters." She moved closer to him. "I understand that you're my monster, Taemin. Mine and Kaya's, and I trust you to do what needs to be done. Camille, I also understand that I'm done being afraid." She stood directly before him now, close enough to feel his heat. "I'm done letting Marcus control my life from afar. I'm done pretending I don't feel what I feel for you." His breath caught. "What do you feel?" "Everything I shouldn't. Everything I swore I'd never feel again." Her hands came up to frame his face, her thumbs tracing his sharp cheekbones. "I feel safe with you. I feel seen. I feel like myself again, strong and capable and worthy." She rose on her toes. "And I feel desire. I thought Marcus had killed in me." "Camille, you're emotional right now." The attack made me realize life is too short and too precious to waste being afraid." Her lips brushed his jaw. "I want you, Taemin. I'm choosing you. Is that clear enough?" His control shattered. His hands gripped her waist, pulling her flush against him. "You're sure? Because once I kiss you, once I claim you, I won't let you go. You understand? You'll be mine, truly mine, and I protect what's mine with everything I am." "Then kiss me," she breathed. "Make me yours." Taemin's mouth crashed onto hers with desperate intensity. The kiss was consuming, demanding, filled with weeks of restrained desire finally unleashed. His hands tangled in her natural curls, gently, reverently, as if touching something precious. Her arms wrapped around his neck, pulling him closer, needing more. He kissed her like she was air, and he was drowning, like she was the answer to every question he'd never known to ask. When his tongue traced her lower lip, she opened for him with a soft moan that made him groan in response. "처음으로 뭔가 좋은 일이 생겼어. 처음으로 뭔가 좋은 일이 생겼어," he whispered against her lips, then translated, "For the first time something good happened to me." "You're good," she insisted, kissing him again. "You saved us. You protected us. You're the best man I've ever known." They kissed until breathing became necessary, until the desire between them reached a fever pitch that demanded more than kissing could satisfy. Taemin pulled back with visible effort, his chest heaving, his eyes dark with want. "I need to finish this first," he said roughly. "I need to eliminate every threat to you and Kaya. Then," he kissed her again, softer this time, full of promise. "Then I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of you. You already are. Not yet. But I will be." He pressed his forehead to hers. "Wait for me. Can you do that?" "Always." He left an hour later with his most trusted men. Camille watched from the balcony as his car disappeared into Atlanta's neon-lit streets. She should have been worried, should have been afraid for him. Instead, she felt certain that he would return, certain that he would end the threat, certain that this dangerous, violent, gentle man was exactly who she and Kaya needed. When he returned at dawn, Blood on his clothes, but victory in his eyes. She was waiting. He came to her without words, and she kissed him with everything she felt. Gratitude, desire, trust, and something deeper that she wasn't quite ready to name. "It's done," he said against her lips. "Marcus is dead. His gang is scattered. No one will ever threaten you again." "I know. I killed him, Camille. Killed him with my own hands." "I know," she repeated. "Thank you for protecting us." His arms tightened around her. "I love you," he confessed in a rush. "Sarangi, Sarangi. I love you and Kaya. You're my family now. My purpose. My redemption." Tears spilled down Camille's cheeks. "I love you too. I think I've loved you since you carried me out of that alley and promised I was safe." They stood wrapped in each other as the sun rose over Atlanta. Two broken people who'd found wholeness in each other. Two survivors who'd become each other's salvation. Outside Kaya's room, they found the little girl awake, sitting up in bed. "Is the bad man really gone?" she asked. Tamin entered and knelt beside her bed. "He's really gone, little one. Forever." Kaya studied him with those wise eyes. "You killed him, didn't you?" Camille started to protest, but Tamin stopped her. "Yes, I did. To keep you and your mother safe." "Good." Kaya threw her arms around his neck. "Does this mean you can be my daddy now? My real daddy?" Tamin's eyes met Camille's over Kaya's head, asking permission. Camille nodded, smiling through tears. "Yes," he said hoarsely. "If you'll have me, I'd be honored to be your daddy." "I'll have you," Kaya declared. Then, with the blunt honesty of children, "And you have to marry Mommy so we can be a real family." Tamin laughed, actual laughter, free and genuine. "Is that so?" "Yes." Kaya nodded seriously. "That's how families work." He looked at Camille, and everything he felt blazed in his dark eyes. "What do you think, Camille Brooks? Should we be a real family?" 6 weeks ago, she would have said it was too fast, too dangerous, too impossible. 6 weeks ago, she'd been broken and afraid and convinced she'd never trust again. But 6 weeks ago, she hadn't known that redemption could come in the form of a Korean Mafia boss with gentle hands and a tiger tattoo. She hadn't known that love could grow from protection, that trust could be rebuilt from ashes, that family could be chosen instead of blood. "Yes," she said simply. "Let's be a family." The restaurant was closed for a private celebration, Kaya's 8th birthday. The space was decorated with balloons and streamers, filled with laughter and Korean pop music. Kaya ran between tables, her hair beautifully braided by her father. Taemin had learned, though it had taken months of YouTube tutorials, wearing a hanbok that Taemin's mother had made specially for her. Camille stood behind the bar, 7 months pregnant with Taemin's child, watching her daughter with joy. Their daughter, because Taemin had officially adopted Kaya 6 months ago, right after he and Camille married in a small ceremony that blended Korean and Black American traditions. "Hengbuke, Hengbuke." Taemin's arms wrapped around her from behind, his hands settling protectively on her swollen belly. His Korean question was followed by the English translation, "Are you happy?" "Deliriously," she answered, leaning back into his warmth. "Though your son is using my bladder as a soccer ball." "My son has excellent aim. He'll make a fine businessman." Taemin kissed her neck, right where he knew she was most sensitive. "Or maybe a chef, or a doctor. Whatever he wants." "Whatever he wants," Camille agreed, turning in his arms. "As long as he's as good a man as his father. I'm still working on being good. You're the best." She kissed him softly. "You gave us everything. Safety, love, a family, a future. You're my hero, Han Taemin." "No." His expression was tender, vulnerable in the way he only ever was with her and Kaya. "You saved me, Camille. You and Kaya. You taught the monster how to be human again." Across the room, Kaya called out, "Mommy, Daddy, come cut the cake. Grandma made it special." Taemin's mother waved from the kitchen, beaming. She'd welcomed Camille and Kaya with open arms, thrilled her son had finally found happiness. Hand in hand, they joined their daughter, their family, their life built from the ashes of trauma and pain. Once upon a time, a little girl had begged a stranger for help in a dark alley. That stranger had become her father, her mother's husband, their family's protector. The tiger had found his pride, and they had found their home. "Sir, Mommy can't walk," Kaya had said that night, desperate and afraid. He'd carried them both out of darkness, and together they'd walked into the light, to